Coming up on Mountain News this morning, as more businesses reopen across the state of Kentucky, we talk with one eligible daycare about why they are choosing to wait. And after nearly 3 months of the doors closed to the public, Kentucky libraries can now open under the governor's guidelines. Plus, if you can donate blood, the Kentucky Blood Centers need your help as a nationwide shortage makes its way to the Commonwealth.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News This Morning.
Good morning, I'm Lacey Roberts, and thank you for joining us on Mountain News This Morning. Today is June 9th. As Brandon reminded me, we call this Monday 2.0, and it's feeling like one because I forgot it. But those temperatures is something that we're not going to forget once you stamp out that door. Let's bring in Brandon Robinson for a look at our forecast today. It's going to be another hot one, huh?
Yes, it is, ma'am, and we're going to continue to see, begin those 70s this morning across the board there, 60s and 70s, so a very mild start to the day, very muggy start to the day as well. And temperatures will climb to close to 90 today across the board. It actually should be 90. I must forgot to update the temperature there, but the National Weather Service could be their first 90-degree day at Jackson this entire year of 2020. We'll have the rest of the forecast coming up here in just a little bit. Lacey.
Thank you, Brandon. Last night, Governor Andy Beshear gave his first live briefing since last Thursday, despite an uptick in COVID-19 cases earlier in the weekend. Only 70 cases and 1 new death were reported on Sunday, and 120 cases were reported Monday, and 1 more death. That brings the total to 11,476 cases statewide, and the death toll is now at 472. However, more than 3,300 people have recovered. Good news. Governor Beshear says Kentucky is also improving when it comes to testing. And daycares with 10 or fewer kids reopened in Kentucky yesterday, but now the countdown is on for those that have more than 10 and are not in a home setting. WYMT's Will Puckett talked with the managing director of one that is not opening next week and has more.
Mary Mullins is the managing director at New Beginnings Child Development Center.
There's safety measures. No, I think considering it's pretty realistic.
Since mid-March, they have been wondering when they would be able to welcome kids back into classrooms.
And we tried. We scrambled. We were trying to get everything together, but we realized that we weren't going to be able to meet that deadline.
The deadline of sorts is this coming Monday, when daycares can reopen. However, they will have to follow several guidelines in order to welcome kids back.
It just means more staffing. You have to have your PPE in place, cleaning. And we were close, but we realized for the safety of the children and our employees, we weren't going to rush this. We were going to do it right.
Not rushing things and taking a step back. Mullins and the rest of her staff will take the extra month and hope they are ready for when things begin.
You know, it's a relief. We hated it for the parents who needed us, but just knowing that we will be doing this right, exactly right.
Knowing this isn't an easy decision, but hoping it's the right one. In Hazard, Will Puckett, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, normally enrollment for New Beginnings is roughly 120 kids, and when they come back on June 13th, they will have a maximum of only 80. And nearly 3 months after the doors closed to the public, libraries can now open under the governor's guidelines. Several libraries, including the Laurel County Public Library, chose to stay closed a little longer to get their safety procedures in place. All staff will be wearing masks and gloves, and they've also removed children's toys and rearranged furniture to follow social distancing guidelines. The Children's Services Manager says that they will also have limited hours to give them time to clean and to disinfect.
All returned materials are quarantined for 4 days. Any loose books that are touched or handled in the library will be removed on a cart, and they will also be quarantined for 4 days.
New hours will be Monday through Saturday from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. and they will also have special hours from 9 a.m. until 10 a.m. for those higher risk of contracting COVID-19 to visit the library. And after announcing that they filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy last night, JCPenney released a list of 154 stores closing across the country, and nearly 500 stores begin to reopen. 6 locations in Kentucky will close, including one in the Middlesboro Mall. WYMT's Emily Bennett talked to customers who are sad to see the store go.
Since 1983, JCPenney has been an anchor for Middlesboro Mall.
This store has been a part of the mall since it first opened.
But now it is one of more than 150 JCPenney stores closing across the country.
We always counted on it being here, and we were surprised when we found out that we were on the list for closure.
Leaving customers without one of their go-to stores.
It's always been a favorite place to shop, and everyone's really going to miss this store.
One of those shoppers is Teresa Gilbert.
I'm probably out here once a week.
Living in Middlesboro her whole life, she is a JCPenney regular.
Yes, it's kind of everybody's go-to. I mean, we only have a few left, so that it's kind of really sad that they're leaving.
Always taking advantage of sales on children's clothing.
I have 3 boys. They are super, super expensive, but they always had really good deals for them. I could always, match their clothes and everything for great prices.
And now she is left disappointed with the loss of local shopping.
Our small little community is losing so much, and it kind of does make it sad that now we're going to have to take our money elsewhere. And, we still have a couple places, but what happens when every one of those close down too?
Sad to see local options dwindling. In Middlesboro, Emily Bennett, WYMT Mountain News.
Now, no other JCPenney stores in Eastern Kentucky are on that closing list. And nearly 500,000 Kentuckians have requested an absentee ballot for this month's primary. The Secretary of State's office says that that's about 14% of registered voters. You have until Monday, June 15th to request one, and those ballots will have to be postmarked by June 23rd to be counted. If you still want to vote in person, there will be one site open in each county for voters on Election Day. And do you live in Breathitt County and want to vote in person for the 2020 primary election? The Breathitt County Courthouse is now open just for that. In-person voting began yesterday and is now open until June 22nd. No matter your precinct, this is where you will vote. When you arrive, have your license out and ready for the election officer. Temperatures are checked when you enter the building and masks must be worn. And if you can donate blood, the Kentucky Blood Center needs your help. Officials say a nationwide shortage is now hitting the state of Kentucky. This shortage is driven by several factors. Doctors are doing more elective surgeries, less people are coming through the doors of donation centers, and the pandemic is still halting at major blood drives. Officials with the Kentucky Blood Center say they are currently only having 1/3 of their normal supply. If you are interested in donating, the Kentucky Blood Center is not accepting walk-ins due to the pandemic, but you can call ahead to register for a time to donate. And there are 2 funerals.
Temperatures this morning running mild in the 70s in most locations. A couple of 60s like Hazard and Harlan and Middlesboro and Jonesville. Also up toward the north, a little cooler up toward the Ashland, only at 61 this morning. We take a look at your past 24-hour temperature change, and again, several degrees warmer in most locations this morning. We continue to track again the possibility for some hazy, hot, and humid conditions today. 90 could be our first 90 at the National Weather Service office at Jackson. Some scattered storms around, mainly tomorrow as a cold front comes through, and after that, much cooler. Some of those storms tomorrow, though, could be on the stronger side. We'll keep you posted on that. Lacey.
Thank you, Brendan. And 2 funerals are planned later this week for Geraldine Turner, a Harlan County native and the wife of former WYMT anchor Tony Turner. You can see all the arrangements on our website. Geraldine died Friday in Greensburg, Kentucky, where she lived in a car crash. Tony also died in a car crash. Tomorrow is the 18th anniversary of that accident. A few months after Tony died, we asked Geraldine if she could explain why Tony was taken from us at the young age of 40. Her answer could also apply now.
Why is a question that in circumstances like this you can ask yourself. A lot of people don't know this, but Tony and I, when we first started having children, Tony and I lost our first child. And, you know, that was a big question, why? And then someone told me one day, you know, instead of asking why, ask why not. I mean, who are we that these things are not going to come into our lives? We go around thinking that we're untouchable. And I think through Tony's death, a lot of people have seen that, no, you're not untouchable. It doesn't matter who you are, what you do, or anything else. Tragedy will come and touch you at some point. And it's just a good lesson to all of us on, you know, let's see how to handle this. Let's see how to move forward. Let's see what kind of testimony this is going to be for us.
Geraldine Turner was 57 years old and is no doubt dancing with Tony again in heaven. Please remember their 2 children, Courtney and Cameron, and the rest of the family in your prayers. Well, thank you for joining us on Mountain News this morning. More news is on the way. Coming up, the World Health Organization is now saying that asymptomatic spread of COVID-19 may not be as common as we once thought.